I've done it before where, I've been involved in, in work where I know that clients have listened, or new business leads have listened to my podcast. So they feel they already know you.
Yeah.
And that's a really good thing of developing that rapport, basically.
Hi, I'm Connor. I'm the Managing Director of Not Going To Uni, and today I'm the guest host of the Employer Content Marketing Pod. Today we're going to be finding out more about Chris, the usual host of the Employer Content Marketing Pod and founder of Content Marketing Pod, to find out why this podcast was started and a little bit more in terms of tips and tricks for those of you that want to start a podcast in the future. Chris, thank you so much for bringing me in to be the host of the Magic Episode 50, and well done for getting to 50 episodes. It's a huge achievement, and it's been great. I was one of those early episodes with you, so it's been really good to see how far it's come. So for all those that don't know, I mean, we're 50 episodes deep now, so why the Employer Content Marketing Pod?
Well, I mean, I've been involved in the employer marketing world, also education marketing and a bit of consumer, for 20 years now. So I grew up in the agency world. My dad and my mum had their own advertising agency, so I'm going to sell my LinkedIn profile, son of an ad man, and I think it must have all kind of gone into me by osmosis. I was hanging around the agency, being the annoying boss's son, getting in the way of things, but I've got a real kind of interest and passion for advertising, for marketing, whatever you want to call it, and I think that's why I've been in agency land, for so long. So what I found over the years is that, and I think I'll take this from the learnings of my dad as well, is that there's so many companies just slinging product, slinging job opportunities out there, and I just felt there was too much about well, what value can we give the people we want to reach, and that's, well, the value is come and buy this product from us. Yeah. It's going to add value to their life, or come and apply for this job. It's going to add value to their life. I kind of came across content marketing in like 2010 properly. I kind of always knew it was there, but I couldn't really put a term on it. And I thought the employer marketing world is so ripe for content marketing. This thing about what content can you give to people that's going to help them, that's going to inspire them as well, but also that's going to give them advice to do whatever they want to do next. So I created the podcast because I just felt in the employer marketing, employer branding world, there was a big space for this. Yeah. There wasn't enough organizations actually doing content marketing. And that's the reason I set up the Content Marketing Pod, my company that's now, it's 2.5 years now, it'll be three in October.
Amazing.
And when it came to the podcast, I wanted to do a podcast for a number of years, and for whatever reasons, a number of reasons, it didn't happen. It was like, right, I think it was just before lockdown in February 2020. I was like, right, now I'm going to do it, and I just got my phone out and just did a trailer, and got a few people I know to get involved, and then that's it. 50 episodes later, we're here, and it's crazy. I think we chatted earlier on about kind of who do you do this for, and of course you do this for an audience, but you do it for yourself. And I was thinking, you know what, even if no one listens to my podcast, I'm kind of doing it for myself, but I've got to like over 40,000 streams now.
Amazing. Which
is like, you kind of know it's going to work, but you always doubt yourself, I think.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic, 40,000 plus streams now.
It's a football stadium full of people.
It is, man, it is, absolutely. And it's great. I really love it where you get people jumping in the DMs and just saying to you on like LinkedIn, oh, Chris, I listened to your podcast all the way up to Manchester, or, what you're saying, or the episodes are absolutely on point, and people suggesting, other episodes. It's really satisfying doing that. So, that's really why I set it up, and I think my intention is to obviously keep it going. And I just like chatting with people as well, like gassing on about all sorts. So it just felt like a absolutely right fit.
Yeah. It's like I imagine for you, similar to with my vlog and things like that, you learn as you do it as well.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
You're learning from some of the best. Before we go into the how do you do it as well, with your business as well, this has helped you to now go and actually deliver podcasts from your clients as well, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I think what I found is, from all the stuff I've learned over the years, I thought, well, right, like with lots of things I've done, is I do it myself so I can apply more of the technical craft understanding of something and then applying it. So it's definitely helped, and now doing podcasts as a stream of offering within the business. And I think for me, it's just whether I'm doing it for clients or whether I'm doing it for myself, it's just a chance to chat with people and find out more about them. So if I'm doing that for clients, you just get someone talking, have some sort of structure and guidance, but you get someone talking. Yeah. They can surprise themselves, you know, but also they've got a lot to give. Yeah. And podcast is a perfect way of, I think, doing that for sure.
It's amazing, and I know we're working on one now with the Royal Air Force.
We are,
amazing. Your Signet Healthcare. So there's loads of benefits, not just with this podcast, I'm sure you've got from this. So how do you actually go about executing this podcast and putting it together?
I think overall, I want to make sure that you have what is the point of doing this in the first place. And for me, it is the world needs to do more content marketing in the employer space. So I'll play my part by offering it to my clients, but I want other people to do it as well. I'm not fussed about giving away any secrets or whatever you want to say. Is that so long as the conversations I have are getting people to think differently about what they do and learn from other people, then that for me is quite a good direction for me, kind of editorial guidance for me. And then what I do is, I think certainly in the early phases, I was going, right, I need to get a volume here. So I was doing, what was I doing? I think it's like 2 or 3, probably actually 4 every month. So I got to 30 quite quickly. So I would do that by making sure I was about 3 or 4 episodes in advance. Yeah. So had a bit of a pipeline there. But then when I'm busy, I go, right, well, as long as I've got people I've spoken to that I can then go, let's now have that conversation. Yeah. That's fairly quick to organise. Yeah. So there's some times where I'm doing maybe I'm 1 episode ahead. Yeah. But there's been other times where I've been super busy and it's like I've got nothing in the pipeline. Nothing solid in the pipeline, but I know I've got 1 episode, ready to go. Nice. It's that thing like we talked about in a previous episode about your vlog. It's about that consistency thing. Yeah. Just keep doing it, and it'll get better. Yeah. But you'll learn a lot more by doing it, and actually also from a performance perspective, that consistency is important because algorithms love consistency. Yeah. And when you're more consistent, the more people you reach. Yeah, exactly. So it's just a kind of, big ticks all over the place really by doing it that way. Definitely.
And the other thing you've had to do is obviously with COVID coming quite quickly is actually learn to do the podcast remotely. How did you go about doing that?
Well, actually, you know what, this is like, I think this is the 3rd episode of doing it in person. Yeah. All of them have been done remotely. Well, actually, I think that's helped because I think if I'd started out by having to go somewhere with my microphone, recording equipment, my phone, it would have prevented me from getting that volume and doing it. So doing it remotely is great because you know what? Actually, some of my best performing episodes aren't exactly great quality in terms of audio quality, but I'm just going to do a Google Meet, set it up, take the video from that, rip it, turn it into audio and just do it. Yeah. And I know that I'll get to a stage where the audio quality will get better, but I'm kind of focusing more on the quality of the conversation rather than just the audio quality. But then I'm getting to a stage where I'm actually now in this fantastic, studio and get to raise the audio quality bar as well. So is that thing about what we talked about in the previous episode about kind of taking those steps and knowing that actually it doesn't have to be perfect to start with, and you'll get to a point where actually you're doing something that maybe you could have wanted to begin with, but that meant I wouldn't have got to 50 episodes.
Yeah, if you focused on the audio quality, then half the interviews might not have happened.
Exactly. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of now going to be introducing more in-person, episodes and introducing video as well, which then means I'll be looking at my back catalogue of my 49 episodes, getting it up onto YouTube, cutting that up. I probably need a bit of help from that. So I'll call upon some friends to help me do that. Yeah. But I think that for me is, I know there's an interest in the podcast. I am really enjoying it, just chatting with so many different types of people. And, it's been great talking to you, but in episode 11 or 12, I think it was, but now episode 49 we chatted and seeing your progression. So just chatting with people is great, and I think I can't see me stopping it any time soon for sure. And it's it's just a great way of I've got to drink my own medicine, however you want to say it, is that I've got to think, if I am promoting content marketing, how can I do it myself?
Practice what you preach.
Yeah, and it's like I've been in my career been involved enough in doing credentials decks.
Yeah.
And this is us as a business. And I think there is definitely a place for that, but I want people to really kind of know what I'm about, even before there is a pitch.
Yeah.
I've done it before where I've been involved in in work where I know that clients have listened, or new business leads have listened to my podcast. So they feel they already know you. Yeah. And that's a really good thing of developing that rapport,
100%.
basically.
Yeah, amazing. So for anyone listening who's thinking, actually, do you know what, Chris? I'm going to come and join the podcast party. Have you got any tips for them or tricks of the trade?
Well, I think, just start it. You've got to start somewhere. So technology is great in phones. Just maybe get yourself a microphone.
You can pick them up on Amazon now. So
it's cheap as chips, isn't it? But just start with something. Have an idea in mind, the direction you want to go in. But actually even have a half an idea and just record something. Yeah. And it could just stay on your phone. Yeah. But at least record it. Then don't be worried about putting it out there. This thing about, well, what if no one's interested? Well, to be honest, so what to start with? Because you won't have everyone, like you've mentioned in the previous episode, everybody didn't have a listener, listeners to start with, so you've got to start somewhere. And I think that the consistency thing is important. I think confidence as well. You've got to enjoy it. So figuring out why you're doing it in the first place is important. Yeah. Because then you're doing it for the right reasons, and you're doing it because it comes naturally to you. Yeah. If you're trying to be someone else and something else, and you're listening to other people saying, well, but it's about sales. You're doing this to generate sales. Not really. It's about having the conversations with people who think the same way as you, or people who want to learn more, and then they can go off and do it themselves.
The authenticity that you've spoken about in every episode, I think all 50 episodes, probably the word authentic's been used at some point. And
actually, I think that would be my last thing is, I've never seen it as being a show. Yeah. It's not a podcast show. My wife said to me once, so it's a show. I said, no, it's not. It's just a recorded chat.
Yeah,
it's just like someone's just listening in on a phone call that I'm having with somebody. Yeah. Which means actually I keep the editing very basic. Yeah. I've had it where I've had a cat jump on the back of a guest, in the episode. I was like, don't worry, let's keep it in. I've had it where my 3-year-old daughter has jumped in an episode, but actually I use that as a way of emphasising a point that I had in that episode. Yeah. Of my daughter and her love of YouTube videos, but she hates seeing the ads and will skip them as soon as she has the opportunity to do it, because that gets in the way of her enjoyment. So just get rid of those barriers to doing it. Yeah. And I think you'd enjoy it, and you never know. You could end up with, a few listeners. Yes,
very good. Well, thanks so much again for sharing what you've done, and well done again. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in episode 51.
Absolutely.
And the rest.
And the rest too, right. Thank you, mate.